Hello there. We've had our Q4 for over 2 years and we've covered just about 30,000 miles in it. So I thought I'd put together some tips, things that we've found out over our time with the car. A couple of these I have mentioned in previous videos, but I thought it'd be useful to have them all in one place. So I'm going to start off with the key, which has the unlock and lock buttons, and one, if you double press it, opens the boot. If you press and hold the unlock button, it will open all 4 windows, and if you press and hold the lock button, as well as locking the car, it will close all 4 windows. Sticking on the Windows theme, you can use the child locks on the driver's door to lock the rear windows to stop rear passengers using them, and you can also set it up so that locks the climate control in the rear as well, so kids can't muck about with the temperature controls. And when you unlock the child locks, temperature controls become active again. You can switch this feature off in one of the settings. Sticking with the driver's door panel, if you set the position for the left hand mirror whilst you're in reverse, then every time you engage reverse, as long as the mirror controls point to the left, the mirror will drop back to whatever position you set it for. And then when you go to drive away, it will go back to normal. You can also fold the mirrors in if you rotate that control round. And if you leave it on the heated mirror setting, which is around to the right hand side, then when you're preheating your car, it will defrost the mirrors. Now there is a start stop button in the car, but you don't need to use it. If you're in D and you just open the door to get out, it'll put it in park. There you get. Handbrake goes on by itself. However, you can, if you want, leave it in neutral when you get out, and it'll ask if you want the car to be able to roll. Hit yes. It'll put up a little warning, and you can let the car roll. So I've tried this on a little hill here, so you can see the car will roll, and it does give you power steering. But also that's useful if you do need to move the car and for some reason you can't get it to drive if the battery's flat, for example. You can put it in that roll function, hit yes, it'll come up with the warning again. But now when you get out of the car, it doesn't automatically put it into park. So we're in neutral on the dashboard. Gives you a warning saying the vehicle may roll, and you can get out with it in neutral and push it. And bear in mind it does weigh over 2 tons, so you're not going to be pushing it very far, but at least you can move it. Nice little simple one to do with charging now. If you're using a CCS charger and you take off the little cover, instead of having it dangle and flap out in the wind and potentially scratch your paintwork, it has a little hole which hooks onto the little hook inside the flap. It just is to get it blown about with the wind. Unfortunately, the cable comes with the car. It's got a little rubber cover on it, but it doesn't have the hole. However, I find if you tuck it in there, because it's quite rubbery, it doesn't move. Back to the driver's door, there is a boot release for the motorised tailgate, so pull that switch up, opens up the boot. But what's not so immediately obvious is if you pull it up and hold it, it will close the boot, so you don't have to get out the car to do that. Sticking with the boot, if you open the boot, you'll see that it goes up to maximum height. But if you stop it at any point by pressing the button or by using your hand, you can press and hold the button, and that'll set the maximum height for the boot. So if I close it now and open it again, it won't open fully, it'll just go up to that point that I've set as the new maximum. If I want to reset it, I can just push it back up manually, Press and hold the button again, and that resets it back up to maximum height. So if you're parking in areas where there's a low roof, that can be useful. It's also really useful if you've got something long on the roof bars, like paddleboard for example. If you're looking to extend your range a little bit and the weather's not too cold outside, don't drive about with it 16 on auto on the heating controls. Put it on manual. Use the fan speed in the direction manually, and if possible stick it on low where it doesn't use any heat, it's just using it as a fresh air system. Another good way to maximise your range in winter is to use the heated seats to keep you warm and have the temperature as low as you're comfortable with. So for me, I quite often spend a lot of time in winter just driving around with the temperature control on 16 and the heated seat up full. If you want to save some battery time in winter, if you're not plugged in, which I never am because I don't have a home charger, don't preheat the interior to a high temperature. I preheat mine to 16, which is the lowest temperature it'll go to. That's enough to melt snow and ice off the windscreen, get the interior reasonably warm, and when I get in I can turn the temperature up, but there's no point in heating the car up when there's nobody in it, especially if you're just using it off the battery power. Different situation if you're plugged into a charger and you were using the charging electricity to preheat your car, but if you're relying just on battery power, I wouldn't heat it any more than 16. It still feels warm when you get in, and you can turn it up once you're in. I see a lot of people online complaining about lane keep assist, which is one of the driver assist systems. I don't have too much of a problem with it, but it's not difficult to switch off. Just press and hold the end of the indicator stop for 3 seconds, and that's it off. No having to go into menus or anything like that. If you want to bring it back on, press and hold again. It does reset every time you get in the car though. Now, in one of my recent videos, someone asked about the passenger airbag and how to switch it off. So, take out your emergency key, go into the glove compartment, put the key in the slot, switch it to off, and the display up at the top beside the mirror will say passenger airbag off. Also up here are all the lighting controls, so you can switch on all the interior lighting, you can switch off the door activation for the lights, and you can also swipe or touch the interior lights to switch them on and off. Just watch out for this one, which never used to be a button, but it is now. That'll call for service if you've got a problem with the car. Moving into the sat nav, and I have no idea why this area is shown up as being in the snow when it's not. If you click on a charger, it'll give you information and you can navigate to the charger. But for some networks, it will also tell you if the charger is available or not. Not every network and not every charger, but that's useful. What's slightly less useful in an EV is you click on a petrol station, it will tell you the price of diesel, which may be handy for other people, but not for me. If you're going to be parking anywhere in the dark, this does have parking lights. However, it's slightly different from cars I've had previously, where you used to just leave the indicator on when you got out of the car. That doesn't actually bring the parking lights on. However, if you click the indicator on once the vehicle's off, it will pop up with a message saying the parking lights are on. So I've locked the car now, parking lights set. I do have the follow me home lights set, so the headlights stay on for a little while, but once they go off, the parking lights should remain active. So it leaves one section of the rear light on and the corresponding daytime running light on the front. And as I said, it does come up and say parking lights are on once you've done that when you get out of the car. And obviously, indicating left leaves the left lights on, indicating right leaves the right lights on. Okay, that's all I've got for you in this video. Hopefully you found something useful in amongst that. If you've come across any other tips that you think are useful, let me know in the comments. Similarly, if you want me to make a specific video about Q4, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.